We're in Mérida, capital city of Yucatan, which was founded about 79 years before the Pilgrims landed in North America. The city is a good example of both all the new cultures existing side by side. The south, near the old city center with its narrow streets, historic buildings, and open public spaces. In the north, with its shopping malls, high-end hotels, and fast food chains, each part complements the other quite well. It was in many ways a different city when I grew up. I'm much older now, but 42 years ago when I left, there was 200,000 people, and today, you got close to 1 million people that live here. Welcome to Yucatan, Mexico, a magical place. It dates back to about 1500 BC. The Mayan civilization thrived in this area. It was until the Spanish conquistadors got here and do what conquistadors do. They conquered. And this area became, we can say, a casualty of progress. Later on, the Spanish and the Mayans formed a new culture. And it was 1542 where the city of Mérida, which is the capital of the Yucatan Peninsula, was founded and still remains today. I live in the US now, but I was born and raised in Mérida, a city which I love, and it is where we're going to begin our Yucatan journey. The 21st century has been embraced by this city like many other cities around the world. New buildings are seen every day. Perhaps it's the future pyramids. But I'm more concerned about the small treasures that we're losing every day. Less visual treasures, but equally important. Traditions. The traditions which are practiced by the greatest asset of this land, its people. The living treasures of the Yucatan. Watching these kids bring back many memories of all the different types of street vendors that came through the neighborhood when I was their age. Naturally, the popsicle guys were the ones me and the other kids were always looking for. And by the looks of things, they still are. I guess everyone had their favorites. One of my moms was the guy that sharpened the scissors and knives. 50 years ago, there were lots of them working the streets. But as far as we've been able to discover, there are only a couple of them still working today. Believe it or not, the one we found actually knew my mom. His name is Ramon Cervantes. I'm supposed to meet up with him later, which is really weird, since I was probably 6 or 7 when I saw him last.
Hey, don Ramón, quiero que me afile mis cuchillos. Hey, don Ramón, quiero que me afile mis cuchillos.
Claro que sí, doña Mati. ¿Cómo está?
Llegando de la chamba.
¿Cómo le ha ido todo este tiempo? Me da gusto volverle a ver.
Realmente, los años no pasan en balde, ¿no?
Sí, hombre. Pregúntemelo a mí, que ya soy igual que la máquina de viejo.
Ahí vamos, ahí vamos.
Mientras Diosito nos permita, aquí estaremos siempre.
Don Ramón, quiero ver que si me puede, por favor, afilar bien esto. Mire que le saqué buen pito.
Claro que sí, doña Mati, porque desde la vez pasada que la afilé, no la he vuelto a afilar.
No, también estas, mire.
Todavía existen estas pobres tijeritas. Sí. Y son de las buenas, se lo dije,
Sí.
desde que se la afilé. Ya les hace falta una buena afinada
Claro.
a ambas. Claro que sí, con muchísimo gusto.
Claro que sí.
Mire usted, doña Mati, están bien afiladas las tijeras. Se las dejé como chamacas de 15 años. No se vaya usted a cortar con...
No.
Es que los despalmé.
This is the center of the city where the marketplace has been for hundreds of years. They actually were discussing knocking it down, and there was no way the people were going to allow that to happen. So they're going to actually fix it up. And it's still a big hub for everybody to come. As you can see, look at the beautiful arches here of the city. I mean, you're talking 500 years of architecture here, and it's just absolutely beautiful, well preserved still. I still have in the little market the same little old lady that my mom used to buy her spices from. She's still there, and it's interesting because some of these people, they don't care too much about what's going on around outside of their environment. I don't think they know that I ever left. I go see them and they say hello to me like they just saw me 2 days ago. Which is cute. I don't doubt that in years before this market was built, many of the vendors would probably have been selling their wares door to door out on the street. Now thousands of people come here every day to do their shopping.
No es zapote negro, es el caucho.
Very much people are very reliant. They rely on this part of the city as they're most of the small towns have buses that come here and they need to do their shopping. This is where the bus drops them off right here and they do the shopping and off they go. And some of these towns are 2-3 hours away, accessible only once a day by a bus. So you can see the importance of the city. This is part of our culture, this is where the fish market is, where the meat market, clothing, everything you could find right here in Center City. Oh, that reminds me. I better get moving if I want to meet up with my mom's knife shop. So I find myself sitting on the same bench that I sat 50-some years ago as a kid. My mom used to send me here to find a street vendor, and there were so many at the time, and they were part of our lives. Today, I'm looking for el afilador, which means the knife sharpener. I don't know where he is, but it's my understanding that he comes to this street still to this day. And even though my mom did not order me to come here, not this time, may God rest her soul, I'm here on my own for another reason. Unfortunately, a lot of the traditions and a lot of the way life was years ago has changed tremendously. I miss to a great degree the wonderful life that I grew up with. The 21st century has changed many things, and in doing so has eliminated some of the fine treasures which maybe we did not appreciate while we had them. And it is my intention to share some of this with you. There are so few street vendors in this city, but yet this man gets up every morning and this is his livelihood, which is becoming more and more challenging to him every single day. This is a trade that's dying. This is a job he's had most of his life, and the need for sharpening knives and scissors and all the implements that a housewife needed yesterday, well, those days are disappearing. I can't help but to think how important it was for all these women to wait for the street vendors to come by. But this man, he's still around. So I'll be waiting here, and he should be coming soon. Well, I think I hear him. Hold on. Buenos días. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Placer ver.
Hombre,
Sí, buena.
desde que te afilé los cuchillos, no te...
55 years of doing this.
Yeah.
Well,
So when I do something for eating,
but you know,
I
That-
need to.
well, but most of the customers that you have are your friends. So everybody wants to see you.
Yeah.
Okay? I know my mom always loved to see you when you were coming down the street. She used to send me out here to get you. No, I got you here for a different reason. I just want to talk to you because I haven't seen you in a long time. You got a few minutes? You got time. Come on, let's sit down and chat for a little
Okay,
bit.
okay. I have a time. Come on.
You got the, and I have time too. Come on, let's sit down for a little bit.
With this bench.
You,
How are you?
You still have the machine, huh?
Yeah. I got the machine.
Who made that machine?
I am.
How does this work? Show me a little bit. Oh, it's the belt with the gear. Okay.
Here.
So this is the motor right here.
Yeah.
So you control the speed with that.
Yeah.
And this is it. And you invented this machine.
Yeah.
Now, how many hours a day do you do this?
So. Not too much.
Let's see, 5 hours a day? 6 hours do you work?
7 o'clock at the morning and 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's a lot of hours.
Yes. And Mondays, every day.
At-
Because every day I need money.
well, if you have to make a living.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to see you. Because soon I'm not going to be able to see this anymore. This is going to disappear. Because the time is going to come that you're not going to do this anymore.
No, never. Because I love it. This.
But you love what you do,
Yeah.
right?
I happy everybody because this work is very special.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Because I want everybody to understand. Are you happy doing this?
Yeah. Because this is my life.
You don't just do this kind of work. Your presence, when you walk around, you add something to all of us. And we hope to have you for many more years. See, maybe 100 more.
Yeah.
This is the main square where the governor and the mayor and the bishop have the headquarters. This is of great importance because the Catholic Church has had such an influence in this country. So here you have the bishop sitting on this side, you have the governor on this side, and the mayor. And trust me when I tell you that the most powerful man in this corner was the bishop. You know, the people do have tremendous faith here. The 16th century Merida Cathedral of San Ildefonso, like many others in Yucatan, was built by the Spanish on top of an early Mayan city using Mayan slave labor. About a mile away is another historic church, and this one holds great personal memories for me. This church is called San Sebastian. I'm not so sure how many hundreds of years it is, but it's a very, very old church. I served as an altar boy in this church. My family has forever gathered in this church, and it's just beautiful to see that's still going on. You can hear praying inside. The faith of this people towards the Catholic Church is unmatched. Not only is it a religious center, but it's also a center in which it was done to help people. In case of a hurricane, for instance, this beautiful church, as strong as it is, people come in and gather inside for their safety. As I stand here, I was looking around and I remember as a child, maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, I would come here and help out at the church, and when the rope was broken to ring the bell, well, I'll go up there with my friend, and it's probably 75 feet up there. And we will ring the bell manually. When you're 12 years old, you don't think how dangerous that is. Today at my age, I don't think I want to climb more than 10 feet, but it just brings up so many memories by being here. People are still praying in there like they always did, every day. My family has worshiped this church for many, many years. My father and my grandmother, their remains are inside this church here. One of the newest traditions, here in other cities throughout Yucatan, takes place every weekend when a mix of artists, artisans, food vendors, musicians, and other performers present their works to the local residents and to the tourists from around the world. This weekend is particularly significant, and it is a time when the people of Yucatan come together once a year to celebrate and honor all of those in their families, especially children who have passed on. So we're here today at the great Madeira Cemetery, where many people are buried. Rich, famous, humble, common people, but no less important to their families. Every year, people gather here at this time of the year to spend time with them, to celebrate the time they had with them, exchange anecdotes, and pass their history on to the new generations. The Mayans used to call this time Anan Pishan. It was a time in which they felt that people came down and bonded with them all over again, with the living, as we may say. It was a time to celebrate all the time they had with them. It's a lovely time, and it's a love that we continue on from generations. We've come to the end of the show, and I'm going to tell you like we say in Spanish. Nos vemos pronto, and don't ever forget, my Yucatan is tu Yucatan. We're going to conclude this visit to Madeira among some of the thousands throughout Yucatan who are participating in this annual Mayan holiday to honor our ancestors and other loved ones. And as we do this, it also seems a fitting time to once again remember and celebrate those remaining living treasures of the Yucatan who are helping to keep the past alive for us all.
De reinas, llego a tu reino, donde tu cielo